Hello, good day and welcome to my channel. In today's class, because one of my students, like few of my students were asking me to do something that has to do with this, so I'm doing a video to explain how this algorithm is solved, the very basic way to solve this algorithm. So that is why I'm doing this video. So I'll be putting it here for everybody to be able to have access to it and use it. So it's a HackerRank algorithm challenge. And the title of this challenge is Electronic Shop. So let's just jump into it. That's the question. A person wants to determine the most expensive computer keyboard and USB drive that can be purchased with a single budget. Given price list for keyboards and USB drives and a budget, find the cost to buy them. If it is not possible to buy both items, return -1. Example, B equal to 60, keyboards is an array of numbers, 40, 50, 60, drives is an array of numbers, 5, 8, and 12. So the person can buy a 40 naira keyboard, for instance, plus 12 USB drive. So that is equal to 52. And you know that 52 is less than 60. And that is what they can buy. That's the most expensive item they can buy. As in computer items they can buy. So now, you know that we have 52 can buy and as well as 58. So we choose 48 as the answer because it's the highest value between 52 and 58. So 58 is the highest, that's most expensive based on the question here. So function description. Complete the get money spent function in the editor below. Get money spent has the following parameters: keyboards, drives, and B. You can see that keyboard, as I've said earlier, keyboard is an array, drives an array, then B is just an integer. So I asked to return the maximum that can be bought, or -1 if it's not possible to buy both items. Okay, the first line contains 3 space separated integers b, n, and m. The first line, the budget, the number of keyboard models, and number of USB drives. The second line contains n space separated integers like keyboard array, the prices for each keyboard model. The third line contains m separated integer drives. They are just trying to tell you what you have to expect in the input. Okay, let's look at the function itself. Okay, they said keyboards it's an array, drives an array, and then budget is just an integer here, as you can see. So let's try to let's look at the examples here. So look at this example. The index 1 has B, N, and S. Okay, so let's just jump into it so that we don't waste our time, so that I can explain how I will go about it if I were you. First thing first, how are we going to implement it? So what comes to my head now is that I will find a way to be able to access each item in this keyboard. Is an array, so I can have access to each value in that array. The drive also is an array, and I can have access to each value in an array. Then B is just an integer, as we know. So what do we do as a software engineer, as a programmer, as someone who is learning? The only thing you do, get each value in keyboard we compare with each value in drives. Let me just take the steps. First step, the first thing to do is to like get access to each value in the array, each value in the array, in keyboard array, keyboard array, and also get access to each value in drives array. That should be that drives array, and add them together at 8 per time to compare the price, to compare the addition, with B. This is what comes to my head. If I want to write the algorithm, this is what I will do. So let's just jump into it. First thing, I will know that I will need an output to track each time that I'm able to have the values that meet the requirement. What is the requirement? The requirement is that you pick a value on keyboard, add it to a value that is less than or equal to B. So we need to have something to track that. So I'll say const array of items. Let me look array of items. Items box equal to an empty array. For now it's empty. But when we start using loop, we can now be updating the array of items box. And we want to use to keep track of the addition of the keyboard and drive that you can buy. Okay, there are two methods here that I can use. I can use for loop, and I can as well use for each. But I think for each is just straightforward and efficient, because as a software engineer or as a programmer, you have to think about your the time it will take your algorithm to do the task. So we need the fastest algorithm. So I will use for each. It's simple to it's not hard. Just know the syntax and you're good. So I can as well use for loop, but for the sake of this class, I will use for each. But if you want me to actually do a for loop video for you, how it is done, you can drop it in the comment section and I'll take care of it for you. So I'll do keyboards dot for each. Right, for each item in keyboards. For each item in this keyboard, I want to access this. So I'll say for each keyboard price. This one will be keyboard price, because that is the price. Each of it is the price. Keyboard price. Then I'll do the same thing for drives. I'll say drives for each drive, because drive price is what we are targeting. Then now I have access to each value in the two arrays, as I've said when I was writing in it. You can look at the steps, the algorithm the steps to solve the algorithm. You can see that is what I stated there. So now I've find a way to have access to each values in the two arrays. So what do? Then, but you know how to for each work. The for each work in a way that it allows you to have access to each value in an array. You can also use for loop, but this one is more efficient as I've said earlier. So I'm just telling you what for each do. It will have access each value from index 0 to the last index. So I'll say cons items, price of items, right? Price of items equal to keyboard price plus drive price. That is the price. So now we now need to compare if that price, if the item of price of items, if the price of items is less than or equal to B. Right? If it's less than or equal to B, and that is what we want. So if price of items is less than or equal to B, then we now push to this array to track it so that we can know dot push so that we can know the prices that meet our requirements. Dot push price items. So now when this function is running, it updates this array of items both. So what do? I now sort, because I need to get the highest. I can sort it. I can just say cons highest expensive, just an expensive item, cons prices sorted equal to array of items but dot sort. Then A, B, that is the basic way to sort. Then B to A, because we are sorting. I want to sort it from highest to lowest. So I'll just say return prices sorted index 0. And if that is false, then return -1. That is my implementation. If this is false, maybe there's no value like prices sorted, there's nothing, maybe in the two arrays there's no price that meet our requirement, then it will return -1. But if there's anyone at all, it will return it. So let's run the code and see if it works. Okay, our test case passed. Let's submit and see if we have done the right thing. Okay, you see computing, you see running test cases, but I think we have done justice to it. Yeah, I think, yeah, congratulations. So that is how to solve this algorithm. It's easy, very easy. Just understand the syntax you want to use, and then you'll be fine. So you can drop a comment in the comment section. I will be happy to help. Thank you.